is Enhance Your English podcast, where real conversations build real confidence. Let's make English easy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Enhance Your English, the podcast where real conversations teach you real English. I'm Emma.
And I'm James. And today is a special one because today we are talking about money.
Specifically, money mistakes in your 20s.
And I want to start with a confession, a real one.
Already? Before we even properly begin?
It sets the tone, okay? When I was 23 years old, I had my first proper salary, real money coming in every month, more money than I had ever had in my life.
Exciting time.
Very exciting. And do you know what I did with it?
Saved it wisely and built a strong financial foundation?
Absolutely not. I spent it, almost all of it, every month, on things I cannot even properly remember now.
What kind of things?
Going out, clothes I didn't need, food delivery every single night, gadgets, things that felt urgent and important in the moment and are completely irrelevant now.
The classic.
And at the end of every month, genuinely confused about where everything went, like the money had simply evaporated.
I did almost exactly the same thing. I had this idea that savings were for later, when I earned more, when I was more settled, when life was more figured out.
And later kept getting pushed further and further away.
Exactly. And by the time I actually started paying attention, I had lost years of potential savings, years of money that could have been quietly growing.
And that's what today's episode is about. The money mistakes that so many people make in their 20s, often without realizing they're making them.
Not to make anyone feel bad, but to shine a light on patterns that are incredibly common and incredibly costly.
Because the earlier you understand this stuff, the better your financial life becomes, not just in your 20s, for decades.
Today, we're covering the biggest money mistakes in your 20s. We're talking about savings, budgeting, expenses, debt, and investing in plain, practical English.
And as always, while we have this conversation, you're building real English vocabulary around money and finance, words and phrases you actually need.
Because financial English is life English. You need it in banks, in jobs, in conversations about your future.
So whether you're in your 20s right now or you're past your 20s and want to understand what went wrong,
Or you're approaching your 20s and want to get ahead of the mistakes.
this episode is for you. Let's get into it.
Okay, James, before we get into the mistakes, let's talk about why your 20s specifically matter so much when it comes to money.
Because some people think, I'm young, I have time, I'll figure this out later when I have more money and more stability.
And that thinking, while completely understandable, is actually one of the most expensive beliefs a young person can hold.
Why?
2 words, compound interest.
The most powerful force in personal finance.
Compound interest is when your money earns returns, and then those returns also earn returns, and then those returns earn returns, and it keeps growing on itself.
It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, small at the top, but the longer it rolls, the bigger it gets, faster and faster.
And the key ingredient for compound interest to work its magic is time.
Which is exactly what you have in your 20s that you don't have in your 40s.
Here's a simple example. If you invest a small amount every month starting at age 25, by the time you retire, you could have significantly more than someone who invested twice as much but started at 35.
Starting 10 years earlier, even with less money, wins because of time.
Time in the market is more valuable than the amount of money you put in, at least in the early years.
And most 20-year-olds don't know this. Nobody teaches it in school.
Which is a genuine failure of education, because this information changes lives.
So the mistakes you make in your 20s, or more importantly, the good habits you build, have consequences that echo for decades.
Your future self is either thanking you or frustrated with you based on decisions you make right now.
And we want your future self to be saying thank you.
Okay, let's go through the mistakes, real ones, the ones that actually happen to real people.
Mistake number 1, and this might be the most universal, living without any budget at all.
Not having any system, any plan, any awareness of where your money's going.
Money comes in, money goes out. You hope it works out, it usually doesn't.
And budgeting sounds very grown up and complicated, like something your parents do with spreadsheets.
But a budget is genuinely just a plan for your money, deciding in advance where it will go instead of wondering afterward where it went.
And in your 20s, when income might be inconsistent, when you're figuring out expenses for the first time, when nobody is paying your bills for you anymore,
A budget is not optional, it's essential.
even a very simple one, even just tracking what you spend for 1 month, the awareness alone changes behavior.
Because most people, when they actually track, are shocked. Not by big purchases, by the accumulation of small ones.
The daily coffee, the regular takeaway, the subscription you forgot about, the impulse purchase here and there.
Individually, insignificant. Together, a substantial amount of money every month.
Second mistake, lifestyle inflation.
This one is sneaky, really sneaky, because it feels natural, even deserved.
So you get a raise, or you get a better job. Your income goes up.
And almost automatically, your spending goes up too. New apartment, better restaurants, nicer clothes, more holidays.
You upgrade your life to match your new income, which feels completely reasonable.
But if every time your income goes up, your expenses go up by the same amount, you never actually get ahead.
You earn more, but you save the same amount, which is zero or close to zero.
And the dangerous thing about lifestyle inflation is you adapt to every new level very quickly.
The nicer apartment becomes normal. The regular restaurant meals become expected. The new standard of living becomes the minimum acceptable standard.
And going back feels impossible, even if financially it would make sense.
The solution is, when your income increases, consciously decide in advance what percentage goes to improved living and what percentage goes to savings and investments.
Don't let the lifestyle upgrade happen automatically. Make it a deliberate choice.
Third mistake, not building an emergency fund.
An emergency fund is money set aside specifically for unexpected problems. Job loss, medical emergency, car breaking down, unexpected repair.
Life is unpredictable. Expensive things happen without warning. If you have no emergency fund, one unexpected expense can completely derail your finances.
You go into debt, you drain whatever small savings you had, and getting back to zero feels impossibly hard.
The standard advice is to have 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses saved in an emergency fund.
That sounds like a lot when you're just starting out, but you don't need to get there immediately.
Start with 1 month, then build to 2, then 3. Each level gives you more financial security and more peace of mind.
And keep it somewhere accessible, a separate savings account, but not so accessible that you spend it on non-emergencies.
Because your emergency fund is not for sales. It is not for holidays. It is not for things that are exciting but not urgent. It is for genuine emergencies only. Protect it fiercely.
Fourth mistake, ignoring debt or treating it casually.
Specifically, high-interest debt, credit card debt above all.
Credit cards are incredibly useful financial tools, and also incredibly dangerous ones.
When you use a credit card and pay the full balance every month, you're essentially getting a short-term, interest-free loan, plus potentially rewards and cash back.
Smart use of credit cards is genuinely fine.
But when you only pay the minimum payment, when you carry a balance from month to month,
The interest charges are brutal. Credit card interest rates can be 20%, 25%, sometimes higher.
which means that thing you bought for 100, if you only make minimum payments, ends up costing you significantly more over time.
And debt compounds just like investments do, but in the wrong direction.
Your debt grows faster than you can pay it off if you're only making minimum payments.
And in your 20s, when you're perhaps spending freely for the first time, it's very easy to accumulate credit card debt without fully understanding the consequences.
The rule is only charge what you can pay off in full at the end of the month. If you can't pay it in full, you can't afford it. That's the honest truth.
Fifth mistake, not investing because it feels too complicated or too risky.
This is such a common one. Young people hear the word investing and think, that's for rich people. That's for people who understand finance. That's for later.
But investing doesn't have to be complicated, and starting small and early beats starting large and late.
The simplest form of investing, contributing to a pension or retirement fund, is available to most employed people.
And many employers match contributions, meaning for every amount you put in, they put in an equal amount.
That is free money, literally free money sitting on the table that many young people don't collect because they haven't signed up.
If your employer offers matched pension contributions and you're not taking full advantage, that is one of the most costly mistakes you can make.
Beyond pensions, index funds are a simple, low-cost way to invest in the stock market without needing to pick individual stocks.
You don't need to understand every company. An index fund just tracks the overall market.
Historically, over long periods, the stock market goes up. Not every year, but over decades, the trend is upward.
Time smooths out the volatility, which is why starting young, even with small amounts, is so powerful.
Sixth mistake, spending on status rather than value.
The pressure in your 20s to look successful, to appear like you're doing well, to have the right things.
Designer clothes, expensive nights out, a car that costs more than you can really afford, a lifestyle that looks great on social media.
And this pressure is intensified by social media. Everyone appears to be living their best life, and you feel like you need to keep up.
But you're comparing your reality to other people's performance. What looks like wealth is often debt.
Research consistently shows that genuinely wealthy people, people with real financial security, often spend less conspicuously than people who are trying to look wealthy.
The expensive car on finance, the designer bag bought on credit, the holiday that went on a credit card.
These are signals of spending, not signals of wealth.
Real wealth is quiet. It's savings and investments and options that don't need to be displayed.
Spend on things that bring genuine value and joy to your actual life, not on things that perform wealth for other people.
Seventh mistake, not having any financial goals.
Just drifting financially. No specific targets, no timeline, no picture of what you're working towards.
And without goals, it's very hard to make consistent financial decisions because every spending decision exists in a vacuum. Should I buy this? I don't know. What am I saving for? Nothing specific, so sure, why not?
But if you have a goal, an emergency fund by December, a house deposit in 5 years, a certain amount invested by 30,
suddenly, every financial decision has context. You're either moving toward your goal or away from it. Goals make discipline feel purposeful rather than restrictive.
and financial goals don't have to be enormous. Starting small is completely valid.
Save $1,000 by the end of the year. Build 3 months of emergency fund. Start contributing to a pension. Small, specific, achievable.
And as you hit those goals, your confidence grows, your habits solidify, and the next goal becomes more ambitious.
Okay, let's get really practical. Real systems, real approaches.
For budgeting, the simplest framework that actually works for most people is the 50-30-20 rule.
We've mentioned this before, but it's worth going through properly.
50% of your take-home pay goes to needs: rent or housing costs, utilities, basic groceries, transport to work, essential bills.
These are non-negotiable. You have to pay them.
30% goes to wants: dining out, entertainment, shopping, hobbies, things that make life enjoyable but aren't survival necessities.
20% goes to savings and debt repayment. This is non-negotiable too, just in the other direction.
And the key technique: pay yourself first. The moment your salary arrives, move that 20% immediately before anything else.
Into a separate savings account, out of sight and therefore out of temptation.
Because if you try to save whatever is left at the end of the month, there is almost never anything left.
The money fills whatever space is available. Remove the space and the money stays saved.
Now, in reality, for many people in expensive cities with entry-level salaries, a 50-30-20 split is not achievable immediately.
Maybe it's 70-10-20 or 60-20-20, or honestly just save something, anything.
Even 5%, even $50 a month, something is infinitely better than nothing.
Because the habit of saving matters as much as the amount. You're training yourself, building the identity of someone who saves.
And as income grows, you increase the savings percentage before you increase the lifestyle.
That discipline right there is what separates people who build wealth from people who earn well but never get ahead.
For tracking expenses, there are apps that connect to your bank and categorize automatically, or a simple spreadsheet, or honestly, even just your bank statement reviewed once a week.
The tool doesn't matter. The habit of looking regularly and honestly matters.
Know your numbers, all of them. Your fixed expenses every month, your variable spending, your total income, what's left.
Knowledge is control, and control is peace of mind. Let's demystify investing a little because I think the fear and confusion around it stops a lot of young people from starting.
And every year of not starting costs real money in lost compound growth.
First, understand the difference between saving and investing.
Saving is keeping money somewhere safe and accessible, a savings account, relatively low risk, low return.
Investing is putting money into assets, stocks, bonds, property, funds, with the expectation that they will grow over time, higher potential return, but also some risk.
And the key principle, the longer your time horizon, the more risk you can absorb.
Because markets go up and down in the short term, but over decades they have historically trended upward.
If you invest money you need next month, a market drop is catastrophic. If you invest money you won't need for 30 years, short-term drops don't matter.
Time is your protection against risk, which is why starting young is such an advantage.
The simplest starting point for most people, if your employer offers a pension with matched contributions, start there. Maximize the match.
That guaranteed return, your employer doubling your contribution, beats almost any other investment.
Beyond that, low-cost index funds tracking broad markets are widely recommended for beginners.
You don't need to pick stocks. You don't need to understand every company. You invest in a fund that tracks hundreds of companies simultaneously.
Diversification built in, low fees, historically solid returns over the long term.
Set it up, contribute regularly, don't panic when markets dip, leave it alone.
That's genuinely most of what individual investors need to do. It's not as complicated as it seems.
The financial industry sometimes makes it feel complicated because complicated feels like it requires experts, and experts charge fees.
Simple, passive investing, regularly contributing to low-cost indexed funds over decades, has beaten most active fund managers historically.
You don't need to be clever. You need to be consistent. Okay, some things about money in your 20s that people don't often say out loud.
First, your relationship with money is emotional, not just mathematical.
How you feel about money, the anxiety, the avoidance, the impulsive spending, often comes from deep patterns formed in childhood.
How your family talked about money or didn't talk about it. Whether money felt scarce and stressful, whether it was used as a reward or a punishment.
Those early experiences shape how you handle money as an adult, in ways you might not even be conscious of.
Some people overspend because spending feels like freedom, like love, like reward.
Some people hoard money anxiously because scarcity felt dangerous when they were young.
Some people avoid looking at bank accounts because the truth feels too scary.
Understanding your emotional patterns around money, not just the numbers, is genuinely important.
Because you can know all the right financial moves intellectually and still self-sabotage if the emotional patterns aren't addressed.
Second, comparison is the enemy of financial progress.
Your friends might be earning more, spending more, living in nicer places, going on better holidays.
Or they might appear to be, because social media shows the highlight reel and not the credit card statement.
Your financial journey is yours. Your starting point is different, your goals are different, your timeline is different.
Comparing more Chapter 2 to someone else's Chapter 10 is deeply unfair to yourself.
Focus on your own trajectory. Are you better than last month, last year? That's the only comparison that matters.
Third, talking about money with friends is actually really valuable.
Money is one of the last taboo topics. People will tell you about their therapy before they'll tell you their salary.
But financial conversations with trusted friends, how do you budget? What are you saving for? How do you handle this expense? Are genuinely useful.
You learn from each other. You normalize good habits. You realize you're not alone in finding it hard.
And sometimes, someone shares something simple that completely changes how you think about something.
Find at least one person you can be financially honest with. It helps.
Fourth, getting it wrong is not failure. It's education.
Almost everyone makes financial mistakes in their 20s. Overspending, accumulating some debt, missing opportunities.
The question is not whether you make mistakes. The question is whether you learn from them.
Every financial mistake, if you pay attention, teaches you something about your habits, your values, your patterns.
And that education, if you use it, is genuinely priceless.
Be honest about the mistakes. Learn from them. Adjust. Move forward.
You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep improving.
Word tour time. All the most important financial and life vocabulary from today.
These are real words you need for real financial conversations in English and in life.
First, budget. A plan for how you will spend and save your money over a period of time.
I finally sat down and made a proper monthly budget. Seeing all my expenses laid out was genuinely eye-opening.
Second, savings. Money that you set aside and keep rather than spending.
My goal this year is to build up my savings to cover 3 months of living expenses.
Third, expenses. The money you spend regularly on things you need or want.
When I tracked my monthly expenses properly, I realized I was spending far more on food delivery than I thought.
Fourth, investment. To put money into something, stocks, property, a business, with the expectation of it growing over time.
Starting to invest early, even small amounts, can make a huge difference over decades, thanks to compound interest.
Fifth, compound interest. Interest earned on both your original money and the interest already accumulated. Growth that builds on itself.
Compound interest is why starting to save and invest in your 20s is so powerful. Your money grows faster and faster over time.
Sixth, debt. Money that you owe to someone, a bank, a credit card company, a lender.
High-interest credit card debt can grow surprisingly fast if you only make minimum payments each month.
Seventh, emergency fund. Money saved specifically for unexpected costs or financial emergencies.
Having an emergency fund means that an unexpected expense doesn't completely derail your finances. Eighth is lifestyle inflation. When your spending increases automatically as your income increases, preventing you from saving more.
Lifestyle inflation is sneaky. Every time I got a raise, my expenses somehow rose to match it.
Ninth is take-home pay. The actual amount of money you receive after taxes and deductions are removed from your salary.
My salary looks good on paper, but after taxes, my take-home pay is quite a bit lower.
10th is minimum payment, the smallest amount you're required to pay on a debt each month.
Only making minimum payments on credit card debt is very expensive in the long run. The interest charges accumulate fast.
11th is index fund, an investment fund that tracks a broad market index, a simple, low-cost way to invest in many companies at once.
Index funds are often recommended for beginners because they're simple, low cost, and historically reliable over the long term.
12th is pension, a savings plan for retirement, often with contributions from both you and your employer.
If your employer matches pension contributions, always contribute enough to get the full match. It's essentially free money.
13th is financial goals, specific money-related targets you're working toward.
Having clear financial goals makes every spending decision easier. You know what you're working toward.
14th is disposable income, money remaining after essential bills and expenses are paid, money available to spend or save as you choose.
Understanding how much disposable income you actually have each month is the foundation of any good budget.
And 15th is net worth, the total value of everything you own minus everything you owe.
Your net worth in your 20s might be low or even negative, but the trajectory matters more than the starting number.
Okay, honest confession time. Emma, what is your single biggest money mistake in your 20s?
Just one?
Your biggest one.
Okay, honestly, not starting to invest until I was almost 30. I had savings, which was good, but they were just sitting in a regular savings account, earning almost nothing.
For years?
For years, I kept thinking, I'll figure out investing when I know more, when I feel ready, when I have more money.
And those years of potential compound growth? Gone.
Gone. And I did the math eventually, what those years of uninvested savings could have become, and it was genuinely painful to look at.
The opportunity cost.
Exactly. The cost of not doing something. What about you? Your biggest one?
Honestly, lifestyle inflation. Every time my income increased, my lifestyle upgraded perfectly in step. New apartment, better restaurants, more clothes, better phone.
Always staying exactly at the edge of your income.
Always, never getting ahead. Earning more every year and somehow still having almost nothing saved.
Did you ever hit a moment where it became clear?
Yes, a friend asked me casually how much I had saved, and I had to admit almost nothing, despite earning reasonably well for several years. And seeing the slight surprise on their face,
That was the wake-up call.
that was the moment. Not a dramatic crisis, just someone reflected back to me what I hadn't wanted to look at directly.
And what changed?
I started paying myself first. The day I decided before anything else, this amount goes to savings, everything shifted because I just adapted to having slightly less available to spend.
Humans adapt so well.
Remarkably well. I genuinely didn't miss most of what I stopped spending on because it had never been bringing me real satisfaction anyway.
That's such an important realization. So much of what we spend on in our 20s isn't bringing genuine happiness.
It's filling gaps or performing success or just habit.
And when you redirect that money toward your future self, toward actual security and freedom,
The trade feels completely worth it. Your future self thanks you loudly.
and that's really the message of today's episode. Not that you need to be perfect, not that you can't enjoy your 20s.
But that small, consistent, intentional choices made now compound into something significant over time.
Just like the interest.
Just like the interest, the math works in your favor if you start early enough.
So start today, even one small thing.
Check your expenses, open a savings account, increase your pension contribution by 1%, something.
Your future self is counting on your present self to care enough to begin.
And that is a wrap on today's episode of Enhance Your English.
We covered the biggest money mistakes in your 20s, from lifestyle inflation to ignoring investing to spending on status over value.
We talked about savings, budgeting, expenses, debt, and investing in plain, practical English.
And your comment homework today, tell us in English, what is one money habit you want to build or one mistake you want to avoid?
Even one simple sentence, I want to start tracking my expenses this month. That's enough. That's real. That's a commitment.
Write it down, put it out there, make it real.
We read every comment and we're genuinely rooting for you, every single one of you.
If today's episode was useful, please like, share, and subscribe to Enhance Your English. It genuinely helps us keep making these free episodes.
Take care of your future self. They're going to thank you.
This is James,
And this is Emma.
and you've been listening to Enhance Your English.
Go make one good financial decision today. Bye.